Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us at 7. I'm Tracey McCain.
And I'm Nicole Nalepa in for Caitlin Nuclo. And you are watching Eyewitness News right here on the Wax, getting your Monday started.
All right, there are 2 first alerts for fog this morning. Storms rolling in later today. So let's get right to it with meteorologist Jill Gilardi. Busy day in the weather department.
Yes, very busy. So this morning, it's very challenging to see outside. So the fog says, what does the fog say? Slow it down this morning and, make sure you use your headlights and not your high beams. You'll notice very quickly it does not help you out by any means, just magnifies the fog. So first alert weather day in effect through about 9 o'clock this morning, especially inland where the fog is a little bit more on the dense side. Mild temperatures today, and then later this afternoon into the evening hours, here comes rain and some thunderstorms, and there's a low end risk for even a strong wind producing storm. First alert weather day for that and for poor travel conditions as we settle into the evening hours. So dense fog advisory almost for the entire state. A few areas left out, and you can get more info on this through the First Alert Weather app. And again, this advisory goes until 9 o'clock. So visibility in some places is well below even a mile. So again, it's going to be a tough, slow go as you head out. Visibility has improved just a tiny bit for Route 9, but it's, you can't see very far out there. So wavering visibility over the next couple of hours. We have a few showers we're tracking across the northwestern part of our state. Otherwise, you're going to get that fog and some mist out there. So a little damp to start off our day. Temperatures ranging from 52 in Chester, 52 in New Haven to some 40s, and then you get a random 39 in Tullin. So a little bit all over the place. So that's foggy through 9 o'clock. Still going to see some fog throughout the day down across the shoreline. Inland clouds. Temperatures are really going to be warming up well into the 60s, and then we'll be watching for those storms developing. I'll have the timing of that coming up in the next 10 minutes or so, but let's get an update on traffic with Caitlin. Good morning.
All right, good morning, Jill. Good morning, everyone. This just popped up. Unfortunately, the camera is kind of in and out here in terms of its stability, but this is in Danbury. First alert, crash that's taking place 84 eastbound between exits 5 and 7. The left and center lanes are blocked off, and you can see those brake lights there as you're approaching that crash site. So give yourself some time. Again, that's in Danbury and 84 eastbound between exits 5 and 7. Really reduced visibility here across the state. Plainville along Route 72. I promise this is Meriden. That's 691 east and westbound. We are just covered with fog, and that fog also just kind of laying atop the Connecticut River line here in Middletown along Route 9. The only crash I'm following for you again in Danbury this morning. Rest of the state is nice and quiet, but we are seeing some typical delays that are starting to build, especially down through Fairfield County. More than an hour and a half ride 95 southbound. Let's quick check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
All right, thanks, Kate. This morning, UConn sports, they are proving that they're truly elite. You don't need an Elite 8 tournament or anything like that. But the women's basketball team, they are gearing up for the 8 matchup against USC. And just hours after the ice hockey team played in the same round in their tournament.
Yeah, your reporter, Roger Susanen, looking ahead to tonight's big game and breaking down a heartbreaking loss on the ice.
Both the UConn women's basketball team and the men's ice hockey team enjoyed historic seasons, but the ride continues now for the women's basketball team as they have an epic Elite 8 showdown tonight in Spokane, Washington. All that's on the line, a spot in the Final Four and perhaps immortality. Your sports director, Joe Zone, has a preview from the Pacific Northwest.
They are lined up outside Spokane Arena hours before tip-off. It's game day, and fans have come from all over the Northwest to see UConn.
I'm from Walla Walla, Washington.
Where are you from?
I'm from Spokane here.
I'm from Crow Agency, Montana.
As KK Arnold gets ready for the games that will decide whether the Huskies make another trip to the Final Four, her mom is all in on a trip to Tampa.
We always say teamwork makes the dream work, and that is exactly what they've done. So we're very proud of not just KK, but the whole team.
A lot of people think this game tonight is the hardest one to win because there's so much pressure just to get to the Final Four.
This is one of the hardest games to win, just because everybody wants to get to the Final Four and you're just on the brink, you're just on the edge, and so both teams are trying so hard to win.
You want it to be like any other NCAA tournament game, but similar to what comes next if you win Monday night, there's an added pressure that you put on yourself if you're not careful.
The journey continues tonight against USC, who UConn lost to earlier this season when the Trojans had Player of the Year candidate Juju Watkins, who's now out with a torn ACL. The winner goes to Tampa to play in that coveted Final Four. Your reporter with the UConn Women in Spokane show's own Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thanks, Joe. Let's hope the women's basketball team's epic run continues with another big victory tonight. But listen, when the stakes get high like this, losses are even more painful. And that was a lesson that the UConn men's ice hockey team unfortunately learned last night. Your sports reporter, Mark Robbins, has more from Allentown, Pennsylvania.
When you look back at this game, you could say the Huskies outplayed Penn State for more than 2/3 of it, especially in the overtime. But it was one play that the Nittany Lions made that sends the Huskies home with some disappointment.
I think I was sitting down during the goal, so I don't know exactly what happened. But, yeah, I mean, Tonger's been there for us all year. He had some huge saves tonight. We just couldn't find one at the end. And, you know, sometimes it just doesn't go your way, as hard as that is to accept. So proud of everyone in there for the effort they put forth.
Some of the coolest hockey games I've ever played in was wearing this uniform, so I'll always remember this. And
is it tough to take it off? That's why you still got it on?
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, it's always like this for me every year.
It's hard to take that uniform off for the last time. It certainly is. And I love him to death, and I know he's going to be super successful for whatever he does.
The staff, the players, the culture, the UConn fan base, it's special to be a part of. It's a kid from Western Canada coming out here. I couldn't be more grateful to be a UConn Husky for the rest of my life.
UConn head coach Mike Cavanaugh says it'll take a few days, but he's going to take this tournament experience and continue to build upon the success he has with the UConn program. And maybe next year, it'll be a trip for the Huskies to the Frozen Four. Your reporter in Allentown, Mark Robbins, Channel 3, Eyewitness Sports.
All right, thanks, Mark. That was a tough loss for the men's ice hockey team, but they'll be back, we're sure, hopefully next year. But for now, our focus shifts back to the women's basketball team again. They have a chance to punch their ticket into the Final Four tonight. Reporting on campus and stores, I'm your reporter, Roger Suzanin, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Roger. Remember, Sports Director Joe Zones is going to be with the UConn women every step of the way, and he's going to have live coverage today, both before and after the game.
All right, 7:07, looking at your other headlines this morning, a stabbing in the West Farms Mall parking lot, and the investigation is just beginning. We know police arrested one person and rounded up several others. Police say a large fight broke out in the parking lot, and that's when someone stabbed a woman. She's expected to be okay, but officers say another person was also hurt in this fight. Police say some of the people they held are under age 18, and they say more charges could be coming.
Tonight, United Healthcare's contract with Hartford Healthcare is set to expire. And how is this going to impact you? Well, if they can't reach a new contract today, it could mean that thousands of people in our state are going to need to change doctors if they don't want to pay out of network prices. Our I-team looked at how this contract battle has been impacting patients and what it could mean if you're in the middle of treatments right now. So you can find that story on our website.
Well, today, a stabbing suspect is in court. Police say the man stabbed his own mother in her neck. Police tell us 38-year-old Michael Amari of Reading attacked his mom with a knife and then called 911 asking police to come and save her. First responders took her to the hospital, and she is expected to survive.
Also happening today, Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro is expected to speak about the need to protect Social Security benefits here in Connecticut. She claims that new policies lead to longer wait times and delays when people receive their Social Security benefits, and that could impact seniors and those with disabilities. DeLauro will be speaking at the East Haven Senior Citizens Center at 9 this morning. And police in Granby are searching for this man you're about to see on your screen. They say that he stole a large amount of shrimp from a local market.
Officials say it happened at the Geisler supermarket on Bank Street yesterday afternoon, again in Granby. Police say he left in a black truck, and they also are asking anyone who may have seen this man or knows him to contact police.
Well, good morning, everyone. First alert weather day for this morning and then this evening. Two separate, different kinds of weather we're going to be preparing for. This morning, it's the fog, so you're going to be traveling slower than usual and using your headlights. Damp commute out there because of this fog is also creating a little bit of a mist out there and certainly poor visibility. Now, this evening and tonight, we've got heavy rain building in. Some strong storms could be mixed in as well with an isolated wind damage threat. Certainly poor visibility, and that's what we're seeing this morning. So wavering visibility. The next couple of hours, the fog is going to be at its worst, and we're tracking just a few showers to the north and west right now. Foggy conditions up at Windsor Locks. Temperatures climbing into the 60s this afternoon. Conditions down in New Haven, well, we'll have some fog off and on. Low cloudiness, upper 50s later on today, and then we'll be watching later on this afternoon for some shower and thunderstorm development. Only going to be ramping up in coverage as we head into the evening hours. Much more on this coming up in 5 minutes.